It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. I hope everybody's got their whistling down for the day. Little wind of change to bring in the whistling practice we all need. Get it out of the way early. Don't annoy your coworkers. Go ahead, whistle now in the car.
Whistle on your way to work and not at work.
There you go. It's out of my system now.
You were canned for what? No, you weren't canned. You got into a fight at a pizzeria.
Oh no, I was
whistling.
fired. I was fired. I was full on fired for whistling in the kitchen.
Yeah,
we can discuss that. We can discuss all manner of ways we've been fired. Now, off the top of my head, yeah, I've been fired pretty spectacularly a handful of times.
Yeah, that's nice.
But right now we do have other business to take care of. It's Wednesday, August the 28th. It's a beautiful day, apparently on the way. A nice morning coming in. The heat wave is behind us. Let's take a look at your top 5 at 6. Here are the top 5 things that you need to know today. The Minnesota Twins, boy, they dropped a heartbreaker to the Atlanta Braves last night. A late rally to put this thing into extra innings, but then the Braves score 4 in the 10th to ultimately beat the Twins 8-6. The Braves, boy, that was tough. They had the 4-0 lead for inning after inning after inning. The Twins come roaring back. And then the Braves say, well, here, we'll just smack you back down. That's a big win for the Braves, who, are rolling along. Let's see. They trail the Phillies by 6, but they do have the wild card spot. As for the Twins, they've lost 7 of 9.
Yeah, I know.
And trail Cleveland and Kansas City by only 2.5 games. They do control the final wild card spot by 4 games over the Red Sox. That bodes well.
I like to go to a Twins game, follow along with the season, have a little fun with the team. And then the rubber hits the road after Labor Day.
Always.
September.
Yep.
This is when it gets real. They're 2.5 games back. They've got the Guardians, like you said, and the Royals out in front of them. It's time to start winning.
2.5 is just fine. 5.5, I'd be like, 2.5 works. You can make that happen, Twins. Number 4 in your top 5 at 6, the minimum wage will rise to $11.13 an hour starting in January.
Sweet. Looking forward to a raise.
The Department of Labor and Industry announced Minnesota's wage will increase as of January 1st. For the first time, it is applied to all employers, not just large businesses. You can, depending on which economics reports you read, this is either good or it's the sign of the apocalypse. I think it's good. I think everybody having a little more money in their pocket generally works. I'm all for it.
Yeah, everyone else.
Then again, I'm not a business owner, and I'm not the guy writing the checks. So, tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to go, yeah, pretty much.
I don't know economics. I don't know what's going on out there. Just as long as I don't have to pay my cleaning lady any more than a nice smack on the rump.
Wow.
I don't know. I said I don't have a cleaning lady.
I was like, really, is there a secret life we need to know about?
There's not. There's really not.
The ZEP staff is now up to 18 people. That's impressive.
Well, that's how you usually tip, right? It's just a smack on the rump.
Yeah, that always works in Minnesota. You know how Minnesota gals are. They love that.
Number 3 on your top 5 at 6. Power outages, according to XL Energy, continuing and could last for about 1,700 people out there doing their jobs, doing their best to try to get power returned to the over 100,000 people who lost their power. There could be homes without power until at least tomorrow night, Thursday evening.
Yeah.
There are so many people that lost power that big storm night before last. We're still hoping to get power back to everybody. I don't know what to tell you. I've been there. There's nothing worse. At least the heat broke, so it's not as horrible as it could be.
Right, exactly. And it's paralyzing, especially, I think, here in Minnesota. Just yesterday after the show, driving down Olson Memorial, 55 out toward Golden Valley, several of the lights out.
Yeah.
You get Minnesotans, Tony, at a four-way stop.
Yes.
We just sat there. I'm like, and they waved me. I'm like, don't wave me. I'm waving you.
Yeah.
And I pulled up while you were waving me. Why are you waving? You go. Meanwhile, this guy, I almost collided with a U-Haul truck right in the, I'm like, and that happened for the next light and the next light. You don't want to be at a four-way stop in Minnesota.
A lot of things you hear about when you come to a new place. And for me, a year and a half ago, I heard all about the Minnesota standoff.
Yeah.
Nothing more real, nothing more immediately like, oh, that's not shtick, that's real. Every four-way stop I come to, I'm like, you were already here. You were waiting for me. Go!
No, you'll get the wave.
Pretty sure I've seen a couple of guys get out of their cars yelling at each other. No, you go. No, you go. No, I said you go now. You get going.
Number 2 on your top 5 at 6. Remember the Kelsey brothers, those football players? One of them's on the Eagles, one of them's on the Chiefs, one of them just retired, one of them's dating Taylor Swift. Yeah,
One of them-
Travis and Jason Kelsey. That's them.
One of them has a whole bunch of Super Bowl rings. The other one,
Exactly.
not.
Well,
yeah,
no,
he's got one.
The
Yeah,
Eagles
just
got
one?
one. He's got one.
That's right. I forgot he dressed as a genie and got all drunk. My favorite Super Bowl parade speech of all time.
They have a podcast called New Heights, and they have signed a new deal with Amazon to bring that podcast there for 3 years. Any guesses on the price of that podcast? They're being paid $100 million.
That makes me vomit.
Yes, it does. Dude, you're serious. Oh, my God. Tony just threw up on my shoes.
I'm sorry.
$100 million for 3 years of podcasting.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're saying minimum wage is up to what now?
it's $11.13 an hour.
All right, there you have it.
$11.13 a second, if you do the math on that, probably is what they're going to be earning. Number 1 on your top 5 at 6. I'm just going to say these 2 words, and we can discuss, we can debate whether or not we even discuss. Sloth fever.
What?
Sloth fever is here. It is a viral infection.
Are you serious?
It's been bouncing around the Caribbean and South America, first discovered in 1955, and now in the United States of America. Prepare yourselves for sloth fever, or as I call it, the 80s for me.
I feel like I've had it my entire life, to be honest with you. All right, well, as long as this doesn't turn into one of those things, I think we were all remembering back in, when was it, late February 2020. What's that, Chinese flu out there? Ah, no big deal. Get yourself a flu shot. Sloth fever.
Sloth
right.
fever. It's an insect-borne virus, potentially deadly. A few people coming back to the States from Cuba and South America and the Caribbean have tested positive. Here's what to look for. Fever, chills, headaches, muscle joint pain or stiffness, vomiting, diarrhea, fatigue, rash, stomach pain, light sensitivity, and eye redness. Or I could say this quite simply. Yeah, that's me because I went to the fair last night. Had all that when I woke up this morning.
Pick up some insect. But it's a parasite, right? Or not a parasite, rather. It's an insect?
It's
I
an
can
insect
avoid.
bite. It's you can pretty much avoid that. It's all I know is this. And by my apologies to anyone suffering from this or who knows someone who is. I just love the name sloth fever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Sorry. The 2 words together, sloth and then fever. You don't think of those things. Sloths are the slowest animal known to man, and the word fever next to a sloth, it's just a great duality. It's like War and Peace. You know, it's like, wow, that's a good thing. Sloth. Oh my God, that's a great band name. Sloth fever.
Not bad. Let's hope no one dies, and then you can use it as a band name.
Hey, good morning, everybody out there in Linden Hills. Down there, I should say. Right there next to Lake Harriet. Nice little neighborhood. I've been to a couple of restaurants, been to a bookstore in Linden Hills. It's nice down there.
Classy, as I recall.
Yeah,
I
right
remember,
off the water.
Very charming.
I remember many years ago, I was dating one of our sales gals. I think you could get away. I think I can admit that now. And I said, where do you live? She said, Linden Hills. I'm like, oh, you salespeople, you make the money. I was over on 32nd and Nicollet. That's where the part-time DJs lived.
Yeah, but you were cutting edge, man. You were living. You were out there on the streets. You were with the people. Brian Zepp, man of the people. You heard it. Don't ever forget it.
Right.
All right, rolling along, I have a quick question. Is that a pair of scissors in your head, or are you just happy to see me? Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good Wednesday morning, August the 28th. Let's go to Lincoln, Nebraska. There's a vape shop in Lincoln on North 47th Street. And a clerk at the vape shop called the police and said, hey, just got a situation over here at the store. And they're like, everything okay? And he said, well, there's a dude standing here, and he's got some scissors stuck in his head. So you know, which is an interesting call to make. Here's the call. 29-year-old man walks. He has an argument with a woman, and he thought that in the argument, when it got physical, she attacked him. She punched him in the head with her fist. That's what he thought happened.
Okay.
No, she jabbed a pair of scissors into his skull, and he had no idea. Later, as in like an hour later, he walks into a vape shop, and the guy looks at him and goes, son, you got a panty on your head. No, wait, that's Raising Arizona. He
Yeah.
said, son, you got scissors in your head.
That's hilarious.
Taken to the hospital, obviously for non-life-threatening injuries. But come on, man. How many places? If I walked out of this building, okay, I would have to think the first person I saw on the street would go, "You okay?" The guy walked down the road to a vape shop, and it wasn't until he walked into a store that someone thought to go, "You okay? You got scissors sticking out of your head."
I hear that all the time.
Yeah, does he? Oh, Scissorhead.
Here comes old Scissorhead. It's not a haircut.
Does he have hair? Because
Not
if you
sure.
have just a little something in your hair, it bothers you. You know, you have to get that out of there. It's like, ugh.
She is mighty, too. How hard would you have to slam that in there to
My
have it go
God,
through
no.
a skull?
Well,
Kidding.
and what kind of what has your life experience been when you misdiagnose scissors in your head for I just got punched? Something tells me that's not his first street fight.
She's going to be begging for him back. She stuck a pair of scissors in his head and he just casually walked out of the house. She's going to be thinking, that's my man. He's a Superman.
So and then also I'd be remiss if I didn't.
God, what? Lincoln, Nebraska.
Our friends down in Des Moines, that's just down the road a piece. I mean, it's close enough. If you're in the Des Moines suburb of Pleasant Hill, look out for that water buffalo. Yeah, there's a water buffalo on the loose walking through a neighborhood. What is that? Oh, Fletch. Can I borrow your towel? My car just hit a water buffalo. Isn't that the line?
Yeah.
I was thinking of the Flintstones Lodge that Barney and Fred belonged to.
Oh, the Royal Order of the Water Buffalo.
We've searched high and low for Miss Water Buffalo.
Well, he's in Des Moines. Okay, I'll tell you right now. You don't have to search high and low anymore. They were trying to contain the animal. Police have been unsuccessful thus far. One officer did fire a round from a shotgun. That just simply pissed the guy off.
Yeah.
That's about all that did.
They've got some tough leather on them.
Whatever they were doing to try to contain this animal, none of it worked. It's still on the loose. Officials said, we don't have the tranquilizers necessary to sedate an animal of this size. They got drones up. They're asking for any ring footage. If anybody sees the water buffalo.
Marvin Palmer had the big farm in the county. We had the small farm next to Marvin Palmer and the big farm. And he liked to go over to Africa and shoot animals. He had all that money, you know.
One of those guys.
Yeah, he said, I want to shoot the most dangerous animal in Africa. He got a hold of one of those safari deals. I was thinking, a lion, something crazy like that. A big bull elephant. I don't know what it would be. Turns out it was the water buffalo, they said. Kills more hunters over there. I guess the most dangerous animal in Africa is the hippo.
Yeah.
But the water buffalo is the most dangerous animal to hunt in Africa. They're a little chippy. Mm-hmm. If you don't, get them, if you don't get them with the kill shot, they're going to come stomp you into the dirt.
Did he have the taxidermy in his home?
He never shot one as far as I know, but we weren't really too concerned with what Marvin Palmer was up to.
Yeah, I read a thing once about it was a Cape buffalo, which is not exactly the same as a water buffalo, but they're very similar.
All right.
And the Cape buffalo, they're dangerous because they surround, like you'll see one. And you'll be like, hey, there's a Cape buffalo, look out. And then you look up and there's like 38 of them in the trees surrounding you already.
Like a gang.
They get all the way around you. You're in a 360 situation. I'm pretty sure that's the Cape buffalo, which was, I read that when I was probably 7 and decided then I'm never going to Africa.
That is a nightmare.
So far I've held true to that. Let's look back. Of course we're going to feel better. Brian Zepp, quick question. The fastest you've ever ridden on a motorcycle, top speed ever?
I suppose let's just call it 125, maybe a hair over.
Okay. Well, on this day in 1978, a guy named Donald Vesco of Loma Linda, California, went out to your old stomping grounds, the Bonneville Salt Flats, and on a 21-foot-long Kawasaki motorcycle he called Lightning Bolt, went 319 miles per hour.
Wow, that's insane. You know what first caught my attention in that sentence was a 21-foot long motorcycle. Yeah, so a rocket on two wheels.
Pretty much, yeah. That's not off the line. You're not going to go buy one of those at the dealership.
You need a good pair of goggles.
Trust me, that's the first thing I would think of is eye protection.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't even need a helmet for that, would you? I mean, because if you crash at 319, right?
What's
exactly.
the point?
Hey, we found his head.
On this day in 2004, Manu Ginobili of the San Antonio Spurs, great basketball player.
Loved him.
Led Argentina to the Olympic gold medal in men's basketball. That's right, Argentina won the gold over, wait for it, Italy. Because the U.S. men got the bronze. Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, Carlos Boozer, Sean Marion. Okay, never mind. I understand how we lost.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. You're listening to the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zeb, Tony, and Ryder on 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Wednesday, August the 28th. Good morning, and especially good morning to everybody up in Spring Lake Park. Right up the road, just due north of here, a piece.
Neighbors, I like just a bucolic neighborhood. I'm not sure if I'm using that word right, but I just heard it on a TV show yesterday.
Bucolic. I think bucolic is the word you're looking for.
Well, it's open, glorious spaces, you know. I just think of Spring Lake Park when I drive through there. I'm like, look how big those yards are.
Mm-hmm. The pleasant aspects of the countryside and country life. That's bucolic.
Oh, okay. Well, they're barely bucolic. I mean, they're in the metro, but... You know,
I always think when I hear bucolic, I know what it means, but then I always think about cholera, a whole different thing, completely different take.
For some reason, I think of that. What do those guys get that? It's not the broccoli or the wrestlers, that ear?
Cauliflower ear.
Cauliflower ear. That's what I think of often.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad we could connect the dots.
A couple of buddies just like had these weird ear. Now that you told me during Unfun Facts yesterday, it only takes about the same amount of pressure as it does to crush an aluminum can to rip someone's ear off.
Yeah.
I wish they would just rip their ear off for their own good. You can't stop staring at it.
That's going to be my next move in a bar fight, I can assure you. I mean, I still enjoy the old just pulling the sweater over the head like it's a hockey fight.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's still my favorite.
That's the best.
Fun fact, I actually saw my brother Dave do that in a real fight. He literally pulled a guy's sweater, literal sweater, right over his head and then just worked his midsection. And I was I was in the middle of, oh my God, we're in a bar. And then I was laughing so hard I could barely stand up. I've never seen anything like it.
Happy Gilmore, Bob Barker fight.
Wow, you really did that. That really works.
I did that at a fight, during a fight in a parking lot at a bar in Forest Lake, and he was wearing a hoodie. Brought it all the way over his head, brought him all the way down to the ground, and that's when his girlfriend sucker punched me. Didn't work out.
You got to look out for the girlfriend.
I didn't.
It's like the old football coach. You'd say, that's a good practice, boys. And then you're walking off the field. Everyone's like, oh, that's a good one. And then he would come up and just drill you and say, watch out for late hits. You know, it's like, dude, relax already.
Hey, I'm impressed, Gorman, that you still think you have one bar fight left in you.
Oh, yeah. No question about it. In fact, I made a pledge years ago. When I realize it's all over, I'm going to go down in a bar fight. I'm going to go out. I'm going to literally go out swinging. I'll be like, I'm hoping I'm like 97. It's like, sir, are you okay? Would you call me? I told myself when I was 21 I'd die in a bar fight.
Yeah, just rip that guy's ear off. Did you see that old man rip that dude's ear off?
Can you imagine just going after the ear like 6 or 7 times and some dude's like, sir, what are you doing? Go, hang on.
Yeah.
It won't come off.
Did you Google that old urban myth that you could rip someone's ear off if you could crush? It was in 96. I probably couldn't crush an aluminum can.
You're the doorman at a bar and you're like, another one of these old men tried to rip my ear off, and then I punched him and he died. It keeps happening. I don't know what was this? What was happening in the late 80s when guys kept pledging to die in a bar fight? Yeah, that's a really strange thing. But no, it's true bar fights, actual bar fights. I've been in. I've never been in one that lasted more than 4 seconds. I mean, it's always like as soon as someone actually gets hit, it's like, oh, wait, okay, this is over.
Everyone's got about 3 punches in them, you know, and they're so out of shape, you're not used to fighting.
Yeah, that's what it is. A lot of headlocks. There's okay, we done here. That's happened a few times.
Fall.
The Hollywood ones where they go out the window and down the street and across the hood of a few cars. Nobody's got that kind of gas left in them. In them in a fight generally anyway, but
yeah, a little trouble when the adrenaline when you use that up and then you're just depleted across the board, emotionally, physically drained, and someone's still trying to punch you. That's no way to go through life.
All your buddies are sitting there watching you drinking a beer.
It's just the worst. Yeah, right.
Feel free to jump in and help out.
I've had friends who just simply put, full on start stuff all the time and expect you to have their back, and the minute you find yourself in something, they're nowhere to be found.
Oh, yeah.
Don't hang out with those people much longer. Once you figure that out, you're like, no. But now I've had a few experiences where it's like, yeah, where were you? Oh, I didn't see what was happening. And I'm like, oh, you didn't see what was happening? You didn't hear the shouting and yelling, and you didn't see your large friend being threatened by two other guys? Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Nice one.
We called him Stump, lived with him in Aberdeen, South Dakota, 5 of us, and we lived on the same block as our favorite dive bar.
Yeah.
And he was the guy that would come in, shoot off his mouth, start the fight, and then we called him Stump because he was shaped like a stump, but the guy could disappear. It was an amazing disappearing act, and while you were, fighting for your life, Stump was, outside and
incredible
always. But what come you guys don't invite me out anymore? Because you start fights, dude, and then you don't. You don't partake.
Yep, there was totally a dude in our crew like that, and at least he knew how to sing, so he could get away with a lot. Check this out. I wanted to get to this earlier, and then of course bar fights got in the way, as they do. Bar fights interrupt plans, whether you're in one or talking about them. I'm just going to read this to you, and this is my favorite thing I've read in a while, and it makes me think immediately of all the times I've been fired at a job, which is a lot. I mean, but it's been a while, but yeah, there's been some firings. Listen to this. Guy says he worked as a car dealer at a mechanic. He worked at a car dealership as a mechanic. At the end of the day, we all had to lock all of the garage doors and close for the night. I was shutting the last garage door when this dude ducked in right beneath as I was closing and locking down. I just assumed that he worked in sales. He looked like a sales guy. He was holding what looked to be some magnetized dealer tags.
Okay.
Well, he wasn't that guy in sales. He was a car thief, and I let him right into the garage where all the customer keys are.
Well,
bosses came in the next day, showed me camera footage of me just letting the guy right in. While everyone else was packing up, he literally just stood next to the customer keys, perfectly still, as if our cameras were movement-based, LOL. I thought it was weird that he was just standing there in the dark as we shut off the lights. But again, I thought he was one of the salesmen. Several cars were stolen that night.
Okay, but when I'm shutting off the lights, when the lights are being shut down, and the sales guy that I presume is and still standing there might be like, "Hey, Chuck, you all right?
Dude,
you want to come with us?
Hey,
everything okay at home? What's going to stand here in the dark?"
I'm more thinking about imagine being the guy that fires that mechanic. Yeah. You're like, okay, I'm going to show you this, and I'm just dying to hear what you were thinking. Now, know this. This is our last conversation.
Yes.
I'm never speaking to you again after this, but please tell me what you thought was happening when this gentleman swoops in under a closing garage door and then stands still like a statue next to where all the keys are.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that air filter I didn't get to.
Well,
what in the world?
Not like you lost a career job. Missed out on his pension. I'm sure he can find another one of those jobs.
I had a job briefly. A friend of mine hired me. Right there, it's a tragedy about to happen. Friend hired me. He had a company called Executive Library Services, and this was the job. You went into law firms' legal libraries. Like every law firm or even big companies, they have a library of just legality stuff, just like 3-ring binders with updated pages of all types of various law. There's like a whole beautiful wood-paneled library at these prestigious law firms all around downtown. And we would go in and you just update their pages. Like you'd pull out a huge binder of some specific type of law, and from some source, which I never thought to ask, there'd be new pages. Like there'd be you'd open up a
did you say nude?
New.
Oh, new. Okay.
You would open up. It would say page 117, and you would go to the old binder, take out the old number 117, just throw it away, and put in the new page 117. You're just filing new pages in place of old pages. That's the whole job. You had to wear a tie.
Please kill me.
I would more than filing. I slept. I put my head right down on my hands on a desk at a beautiful legal library and just slept a lot.
Yeah.
And this was my friend's business, Teddy. And Teddy, after we'd been working together, I say working together, about 8 months, he came in one day and he'd been telling me like, dude, you get, the head of the library saw you asleep. I'm like, sorry, man, I was up all night. He came up to me and this is how he fired me. He said, hey, will you do me a favor? I said, sure. He goes, hey, you got to fire yourself. I said, what? He goes, I can't bear to do it.
It's called quitting.
Just fire yourself. And I said, do you mean I can quit? He goes, yeah, whatever you do, just please don't come back.
Whatever you do.
And I said, okay, so I quit. He goes, and he was dead serious. He goes, man, thank you. I just don't have the heart to fire you. I said, all right, well, can I leave now? He goes, yeah, get the hell out of here. It's like, oh, that was the best. I could never be fired with such love.
You took off your tie with pride.
Kid gloves. It was fantastic. If you got a good getting fired story, we'd love to hear from you. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ talk and text line. We haven't even cracked the can on a Zepp or Tony Lee being fired. We'll get there. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ talk and text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Wednesday, August the 28th. We got one text just came in. Hey, thanks for playing my favorite song, Plush. You're welcome. That was for you.
Yes.
Whoever you are. Somebody got it right. It's nice when you turn on the radio and hear the song you're hoping to hear. It doesn't happen with me very often, but every now and again, hop in the car, comes on, you're like, that's exactly what I needed.
Yeah, I'm liking some STP. Catchy, classic now.
I got no beef with the STP boys. I think they're the most often overlooked band of the 90s. Rock band, straight up. They got lumped in with grunge. They were anything but. And, every record's got a few songs where you go, wait, this is actually like awesome, great all-timers.
I forget when Whelan died in a parking lot right down the road here in Bloomington on his tour bus.
That's right.
I'm always bad with dates. I want to say 15.
15 or 16, probably.
Something like that.
Yep.
But did see them when we were on vacation. I was out at a music festival way out west, and Stone Temple Pilots were playing. I thought, why not? And I forgot that they had 28 songs that I knew.
Yeah.
I was like, and that one, and that one, and that one. Good stuff.
Yeah. All those. It's a weird thing when a band fires their singer. Like, you hear about bands oftentimes firing any number of but when it's the singer, you're like, man, how bad did it have to get to where the guy who's front and center in the mix, most fans, like, they sing along. They don't hum the bass line. No. They sing along with the singer. And STP at some point were finally like, after all those back and forth, they're like, dude, you just got to go. Sad, of course, because of all that he was dealing with. But it does happen. I got a text right here I'm going to read you because we were talking about being fired, bizarre firing stories. Wally texted, I got fired on my day off. Worked there for 18 years under the guise of, quote, undermining management. I asked for examples of what that means, and they told me, they showed me the door. I still don't know actually what it was, other than I got divorced and the president of the company was really close to my wife.
I see.
Undermining.
You hurt someone in management's feelings. You can't
that's a tough one.
Makes it uncomfortable for them to come to work when there's someone on the floor that hurt their feelings. And then
not good.
You coward. You fired him on his day off. F him, Wally.
Hey, it happens, I guess. That's a rough one.
I think one of my favorite firings was getting fired knowing I was getting fired a year out. Doing a radio show with one of my favorite people, Terry Trey, and she said, I'm going to get fired in a year. I said, you're going to get fired in a year? She called the date. She was off by 3 days.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Wow.
Terry's always been a prophet.
Yeah, really? Holy crap.
I mean, you can't do this forever, and we get to work together for another year, so that was a good time. But
that is pretty good.
My favorite odd firing was working a construction job down in Tampa Bay right after I got out of the service. Went down there for the summer to work a construction job with an Army buddy who got out the same time I did, and his dad was a foreman down there. He got me a job on another crew, and I show up for the first day of work, and they're like, you know how to drive a forklift? Anybody know how to drive a forklift? I immediately raise my hand. I'm like, I'd rather be the guy driving the forklift than lifting everything.
Yeah, sounds fun.
I did not know how to drive a forklift. I grew up on a farm. I thought, how bad can it be? And I ran that sucker right into a wall. It was just pointed right at a wall that was only 10 feet. He's like, I just back her out of here, and I put her in forward and whammo right into the wall. And so the next morning, his dad, we get up to go to work, and his dad says, you're coming with me. I said, I work on the other crew. He goes, no, you don't. He goes, now you work on my crew. And there was no more driving on that crew. It was
Ouch.
wheelbarrows of cement all summer long.
Couldn't you blame the forklift? Oh, the transmission locked up on me.
Was this a European forklift? The controls are backwards.
When's the last time you exchanged the Fetzer valve?
Yeah, of course.
651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and text line. Hit us a text or give us a shout if you've got something to join in or add to this conversation. Our friend Bob the Hummus Guy texted, was working at Little Jack's restaurant in 1984. I purchased Rod Stewart tickets 3 months before the show.
Yeah.
I requested time off from the boss once I had the tickets. Every week until the show, reminded the boss I was only working half a shift that day. You know where this is going. Mm-hmm. Day of the concert, worked my half shift. Boss said, where are you going? I said, to the Rod Stewart show. And his response was, you leave and you are fired. I said, well, then I quit. Yeah, we've all been there. No, I told you. First I'm hearing of it. It's like, no, dude. No, we've been over this several times.
I bet that boss made a great husband.
Yeah.
What? Where are we? What? What do you mean I've been telling you every day, sweetie. Huh? What? Huh?
These things happen. We did start the show. We were talking. We came out of Scorpions' Wind to Change, and so, of course, that makes everyone whistle. If you've got a heart, if you've got a soul, by God, you'll whistle when you hear Scorpions. And I've probably told this story, but I got fired literally for whistling at work. That's what my downfall was. Funny. At a conveyor belt pizza establishment, that's what I call them. You know, Mr. Gaddy's, you just take out a frozen crust, put some glop on it, and put it in a conveyor belt, and it comes out later, and you're supposed to act like, I'm a cook. I made that.
That's a fan pizza.
Yeah. I was making my pizzas and doing my job, and I was just whistling to just be funny, like the fake whistle you were. Mm-hmm. You know, just doing that nonsense to be annoying and kind of funny. And the manager, who was like all of 19, I was 20, he was 19. He's like, hey, man, that's a health violation. You're not supposed to whistle when you're working with food. And I was like, cool. And 5 minutes later, I'm just whistling. And it came to a head one day, and he said, if you whistle one more time, you are fired. And my response was, and he just goes, that's it. And I remember, take your apron off. I was like, great, gladly.
Take your apron off.
And I turned and I pulled out an extra large deep dish crust. He goes, what are you doing? I go, I'm going to finish the orders and then I'm leaving. And I just I made a garbage pail pizza. I loaded it up with everything. And he just thought there had been an order for it. And I put it on that conveyor belt. It came out the other side. I put it on the thing, sliced it, dropped it in the box, and just walked out the back door with it.
Off you go.
That's my severance pay.
That's great.
Take that.
Deep dish with everything. Tony, I can't imagine anybody firing Tony Lee, even at Pants Plus. I mean, let's go to the Wayback Machine. Were you ever fired?
Oh, yeah, but it's happened in civil fashion, but I've heard horror stories. I mean, because radio firings are notoriously
legendarily
brutal.
Awful, yeah.
There's one guy who was a program director, the boss at the time, and he was letting go half the staff, and he had an office in the back of the building, and in the back of the building in his office was a door that was the exit out. He would have people come in one by one, and on his desk he had a little plastic soldier, and he would just hold it up and he'd go, see this little sergeant? This is you. And he would flick it and go, ba-ding.
I would have punched him in the mouth.
And then open the back door and out you went.
Oh,
no
my
way.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have went out the back door, over to his car, flattened all of his tires. I'm like, oh, son of a... Yeah, those arrogant... I was working at a small radio station in a small town up in Cambridge. Well, Cambridge. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
I wasn't going to bust because I think the guy's still around. But the owner of that radio station said, hey, come on up. We want to hire you. Go up. I plopped down in the lobby there.
Yeah.
And I'm talking... There's like 3 other people in the lobby. Oh, are you here for the same job? No, I'm here for this other job. Oh, how about you? I'm here for another job. Oh, and how about you? I'm here for another job. Really? We're all here for different jobs? And wow, maybe they're starting a new radio station. He comes walking out of his office, says, oh, good, you're all here. Goes downstairs, hollers. He goes, hey, can everybody come up here, please? Those 4 people came up from downstairs, and he said, you're all fired. Oh. You 4 have their job. Head on down. We had to actually squeeze past them to go downstairs. I'm like, hey, sorry,
my.
Man. And right then, I thought, I've got to have an exit strategy. This isn't going to last long with this guy.
Yow,
and it did not last long with that guy.
That is brutal. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. You got a story you want to share? Bring it on. Tony, who's on the horn?
Rick from Egan has a good chopping block tale.
Rick, good morning, sir. Rick.
Hello.
Hey, you're with us, brother. First things first.
I sure am, man. How you guys doing?
We're great. Hey, Rick, what's your favorite band of all time?
Oh, God. Let's say the Eagles. Everybody's my favorite, but we'll say the Eagles.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite team, any sport?
Oh, it's got to be the Vikings.
That'll work. Eagles and the Vikings. So what's your story for us, Rick?
Well, I worked for Dad's construction company many years ago, and we were doing a bridge job, and the supervisor, who was a crazy wild guy, he had no thoughts, didn't care about firing anybody. He never felt guilty. But this one guy was running a roller, and he hit the bridge. And we thought, oh, my God. And we asked him later, why didn't you fire him right away? And he said, that would be too good for him. I'm going to keep him around, and I am going to torture him.
Oh, my God.
He did. If anybody could torture an employee, he could do it.
Oh,
Wow.
And I think he finally got out of there after a couple of days. I think he lasted.
Thank God he didn't take anyone out in the meantime while you're torturing him. He didn't roll over anyone on the job site.
holy smokes. Not good.
We knew to keep away from this guy because he was not the safest on heavy equipment. So we just stayed away from him. But sure enough, he lasted maybe 2 or 3 days, and he finally got out of there.
Yeah. Oh, that's a rough one. Rick, thank you for the call, brother. Appreciate it.
You got it. Have a good day, guys.
Here's a text that just came in. My sister-in-law was informed she was being laid off from Gander Mountain during their Christmas party.
What?
At the party?
Christmas is the worst in radio.
Oh, my God.
It sounds like almost maybe in retail, too. But, yeah,
Wow.
we take that Christmas break every year. Everybody cuts loose. You get a week off or whatever. I can't tell you how many radio people have been fired coming back from the Christmas break.
My dad ran a radio station for a few years when I was in high school. Took over a station, and it was this is the early 80s, and there was an AM station that was like talk and stuff, news updates, a little bit of music all day long. I never listened to it. So AM radio, what is this, the 1920s? I mean, I was like an FM kid. The FM station, this was an old system back then. It was all just on tape. The whole thing was automated. There was like a company from Texas, and they would send reel-to-reel tapes, and all you had to do, the FM station, you just put them up there, and it was 4 songs in a set and then commercials.
Yeah.
And it was 2 like current top 40 songs, a recurrent that was hit 6 months ago, and then an oldie.
Yeah.
That's it. 2 new ones, a recent one, oldie, commercials.
Yeah.
2 new ones, recent one, oldie, commercials. 24 hours a day. And it did great. Everyone just wanted to hear music. And so all you had to do if you were running the FM station was just every couple hours you had to put the new tape in. That was it. It was just all automated. And so, of course, one of my brothers home from the summer, my dad gave him the overnight. Hey, just go down there and work. I think they were even off air from like 2 to 6. But it was like work from 8 to 2, 8 p.m., 2 a.m., I'll pay you whatever. And my brother's like, yeah, I got this. No problem. Well, 3rd or 4th night doing this job, he's just sitting there. He's in downtown, this tiny little town, and he's like, hey, that burger place is open late. I'm kind of hungry, but he doesn't have a key to the building or anything. The front door automatically locks. So he props the front door of the station open with like a can and walks up a block because he's like, I got an hour before I have to do anything.
Yeah.
Goes in, gets his cheeseburgers, comes back, and of course the can had somehow either someone moved it or he just didn't do a job. Anyway, the front door of the station's locked. And this is pre-cell phone. This is pre-anything. He walks back to the burger place. He goes, hey, I need to use your phone. And they're like, no. No, sorry, phone's just for us. And so he's got like 40 minutes, he realizes, before they're going to go to dead air. And he's like, well, it's about 2 miles to my parents' house. I can run home, wake my dad up, get the key. I could, and as it finally, like on his 3rd appeal, they finally let him use the phone. He had to call the old man, wake him up. He had to drive down there angry as a hornet, because I guess if you have dead air, it's a big deal.
It's the worst.
The FCC will fine you and stuff.
You haven't had the dead air nightmare yet where you woke up in the middle of the night? I've done that here more than a couple of times at KQ because I used to smoke. Step out and have a heater. Oh, crap. I I either wedged the door or I didn't take my key out. But it happened more than once. And you start walking around the building. I remember here one time there was a cherry picker. Someone was working on a sign a couple of businesses down. Guy's like, well, I could get you up on the roof. You think that would help? I thought, well, maybe, but...
It's an opening somewhere.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll be the first story on the KQ Morning Show Monday morning. Yeah, guy tried to, fell through the roof of Studio A trying to get in.
The end of that thing with my brother, I forgot the whole punchline, which is true, which he said, so... he was basically looked at my dad and said, are you going to fire me? And my dad said, if I fire you, I got to pay somebody.
That's like a farm kid. You don't get fired.
651-989-ROCK. Tony, who's on the horn?
From Forest Lake is Big John.
John, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
We're great, brother. Favorite band, who you got?
I'd have to say Seeger.
That'll work. Favorite team, any sport?
Buffalo Sabres.
Wow, McGillney coming in strong. All right, John. What do you got for us?
Well, I used to work for a bigger paint company, paint store in Twin Cities, and the manager there, he couldn't, if you asked him to do more than one thing at once, he would just lose his mind. And he couldn't handle it. And we're mixing up paint early in the morning one morning for the contractors, and he messed up a can of paint because he also had a phone call coming in. And it was a quart, just a smaller quart, and he ended up mixing it wrong, and he got mad. And he would lose his temper all the time and throw little fits. And most of the time it was annoying, but it didn't really affect anybody. So he grabbed that quart of paint and he threw it. And it hit me in the shoulder. And I turned around and I let him have it.
Sure you did.
And he had blood running down his face. And he walked in the office. And I followed him in there. And he goes, "You're fired." I said, "No shit." And he called the cops. The cops came.
Oh, boy.
And they pulled us apart, asked me what was going on. I showed them the big mark on my back from the quart of paint hitting me, and they talked to him, and then they came back, and they're like, well, he told us if you won't press charges, he won't press charges. So that's how it went. And I walked out the door, and come to find out, I got a call the next day that the following morning, every employee he had walked out of the store and quit on him.
Vindication.
There it is.
And you got to sock a boss in the mush and kind of get away with it.
Yeah. Right on. That's a good one, John. We appreciate the call. We got a hot brother. Hey, you can join Zepp for Leonard Skinner and ZZ Top pre-party this Friday from 4 to 6 at Treasure Island Parlay Lounge. You're going to have a chance to win tickets to the show or a chance to get your tickets upgraded, courtesy, of course, of Treasure Island Resort and Casino. You're going to have a good time down there.
Oh, we're going to have a real good time. We did this last year for the Doobie Brothers, and it's pretty cool. You bring your tickets down, and you could end up with some really sweet seats.
Yeah.
And if you don't have tickets, make sure you show up. We'll be giving those away as well. A good time at the Parlay Lounge, 4 to 6.
Always great shows this time of year in town. I hear as hell there's going to be an Outlaw Music Festival gig September 6th. More information about that? Yeah, that's right. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zepp, Tony, and Ryder on Minnesota's classic rock. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good morning. It's Wednesday, August the 28th. Very happy to be rolling along on a Wednesday with you. First things first, the Outlaw Music Festival. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp, September 6th at the Somerset Amphitheater. We have tickets. We'd love to give them away. So right now, callers 9 and 2 at 651-989-ROCK. Callers 9 and 2, 651-989-ROCK will have a chance to play a game to win tickets to see Willie, Bob, and John. Get on the horn.
Yeah, in Somerset Amphitheater. I don't know if you've had a chance. Oh, you guys played out there.
I've played out there before.
That's right.
I was just out there last month. I went to see my buddies Hootie and the Blowfish play out there.
That's right. I'm pretty sure I saw you guys out there way back in the day.
Yep.
What a great show to get out to. What date is that on again?
September the 6th.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's, just we're jam-packed this time of the year with everything.
We certainly are.
One I'm not going to get out to, but what a beautiful place and a fantastic place to catch a show. I saw... was it Willie? Missed a couple of dates. He's up there. He's been hanging around for a while.
90.
Just saw a picture a couple of days ago up on X. It was Willie and Allison Krauss. And who's that guy she sings with? I can't remember his name. Almost forgettable.
Bob somebody.
Robert Plant.
That's him.
They all look fantastic. Willie looked fantastic. Almost spry.
Yeah, he's doing all right. He bounced right back. That's going to be a heck of a night. Hey, Bloomington. Good morning, Bloomington, Minnesota.
Good old Bloomington.
Good old Bloomington.
Yeah, I mean, it all happens in Bloomington. It's all happened in Bloomington.
It has all happened in Bloomington.
It kind of has.
Awful lot of things. A lot of gigs have gone down in Bloomington. A lot of retail.
A lot of retail in Bloomington. I've been to a lot of parties in Bloomington. I had a baby born, Sid the kid, while we were living.
You're talking.
While we were managing Penn Village Apartments. And if you cut through the fence, we had a big wooden fence there, and you could pull a board out and sneak through the fence so you didn't have to walk around the block.
Perfect.
There was Wally's Roast Beef right on the other side of that fence. Now, they have moved locations. I think they're further up Penn now. I'm not sure, but give me a Wally's Roast Beef any day of the week, and I'll take the cheese.
Rock on Bloomington. All right, we got a couple callers locked and loaded right now. Tony, what are we going to do today? What sort of game do you have cooked up for us?
What sort? Well, you want to win a prize? You got to play this. Yup, apps are life-enhancing. We know that, but they're also incredible time wasters, but we love them. So we're going to give you a name and a brief description, and you guess, is it a real app or is it just made-up crap? App or crap?
So like rutabaga dip, that's not a real app. Oh, you mean you don't mean appetizer. You mean an app on your phone. See what I did there? App
Cool.
or crap. No, I dig it. This is fun always. App or crap. We got two callers ready to roll. Tony, who's caller number one?
First up is the lovely Brenda from lovely Maplewood.
Brenda, good morning.
Good morning.
Brenda, what's your favorite band?
I love the Zach Brown Band.
Zach Brown Band.
Solid.
Little ZBB. Nice fellas in the ZBB. Favorite team, any sport?
Minnesota Wild.
The Wild. I like it. All right. Brenda, we are going to play a game called App or Crap. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, Bren. First off, we're going to start with this one. This is called Torture the Triceratops. This particular dinosaur is protected by bony exterior plates and horns, so the torture inflicted via a click of the mouse is a series of insults that would psychologically scar the Triceratops. App or crap?
Ooh, it sounds too dumb, but I'm going to say it's real.
I'm sorry, it was too dumb.
I mean, remember the Spinal Tap line? There's a fine line between clever and stupid. It applies the clever and stupid. That is which applies to this game.
Broke that one.
Right.
All right.
Bren, number 2 is Help Me College Boy. A panel of Ivy League seniors from Brown, Dartmouth, and Yale, available through live chats, give advice on everything from preppy fashion to how to play drinking games. App or crap?
Oh, let's say app.
I'm sorry, that was made up too.
Oh, man.
I mean, I think I would have said app on that one. Of course,
I absolutely would have said app on that one.
Mm-hmm. It's all right. You got 3 more.
All right.
Brenda, Darts of Fury. Easy to learn with a swipe to throw move. Compete with others as you fire on interactive dartboards on your way to becoming a darts legend.
I'm going to say app.
Good job.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, you're in the
right.
black here. Number 4 is Diablo Immortal. Enter a dark world, face down hordes of demons, and create your own perfect hero to fight evil. Go on an epic quest to save Sanctuary and save mankind.
Oh, I think that one's real. I think my sister talks about that.
Your sis is correct.
Is she single? Because I have that app too, and I've saved the world on more than one occasion. You're all very welcome.
That's adorable.
Diablo.
You 2 kids.
Fair enough.
All right, your last one, Brenda, is Melt Maze. Carrying butter and chocolate, go through a series of mazes before your supplies melt and liquefy.
I'm going to say crab.
Nice job. It is crap.
Yes.
It's made up. That's just silly.
Brenda started slow, finished on fire, 3 for 5. That's a very solid effort on your part. We're going to put you on hold for a moment, and we're going to go on to contestant number 2. Who have we got, Tony?
Emily from Lakeville wants to play.
Emily, good morning. Emily,
Emily, turn down your radio.
turn the radio
Yeah.
down. Are you with us?
I'm here.
Okay, great. Favorite band, Emily, who is it?
Oh, I like Tom Petty.
That
I like all
works.
the bands though.
Favorite team, any sport?
My favorite team, is that what you said?
Yep.
I'd say the Lakeville South Cougars.
Yeah.
Wow. Right on. Let's go Cougars. All right, Emily, we're playing
Yeah.
app or crap. Good luck.
All right, thanks.
Your first one, Emmy, is eye deodorant. It saves the day when your scent has gone astray. Choose from scores of different fragrances, make an in-app purchase, and you get your choice of a deodorant spray. It's emitted from your phone's former headphone jack. App or crap?
That's crap.
Correct.
Emily.
That doesn't work. Not yet, anyway.
In due time.
Emily, number 2 is Lady Goo Goo Gaga. In conjunction with Fisher-Price and designed by Lady Gaga, this app allows you to record your baby's rantings and gibberish, and an algorithm translates it to adult understood sentences available in 6 languages.
Crap.
Did you say crap?
I think so, yeah.
It is crap.
You know, I would have said app, except you said Lady Goo Goo Gaga. And I thought that's a copyright
Exactly.
thing right there.
Oh, you're always thinking.
I'm a thinker, really.
Number 3, a Subway Surfer. Dash as fast as you can. Help Jake, Tricky, and Fresh escape the grumpy inspector and his dog as you leap onto the tracks and dodge oncoming trains.
That's an app.
Yes, it is.
Wow. That is an app.
Youngsters enjoy that.
You were almost to the end of that description before I realized you weren't talking about making sandwiches.
Subway Surfer.
I was like waiting for the sandwich order. All right, Emily, you are 3 for 3. Keep it up.
2 more, M. Number 4 is Fruit Ninja. Go head-to-head and show off your skills as an ultimate ninja, avoiding bombs as you slice fruit like a warrior.
That is also an app.
It is.
Wow.
Fun, fun, fun.
Are these on your phone, Emily?
No, my kids play these games.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Your last one, Emily, is Yo-Yo Yodel. In a battle to the death from the streets of Brooklyn to the Alps of Switzerland, titans of rap and hip-hop clash with giants of yodeling to crown the kings of communication culture.
I think it's crap.
I think you're right. It is crap.
Wow.
That is just nutty.
Awesome.
Emily, you ran the table 5 for 5. Very well played. Brenda, great effort, 3 for 5, but I'm sorry it's not enough today because Emily showed up with a buzzsaw ready to rock. Emily, you have tickets to see the Outlaw Music Fest September 6th at Somerset Amphitheater. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp. Thank you for playing, ladies. Emily, congratulations.
Thanks.
Man, that's awesome.
That's how it's done right there.
That is how it's done right there.
What a woman.
Hey, get ready to rock this Labor Day weekend with 92 KQRS's Mount Rushmore of Classic Rock. Vote for your favorite classic rock artists for a chance to win $100 in KQ State Fair merch. Check out 92KQRS.com to vote. Sponsored by Captain Ken's Oven Baked Beans. Hell yeah, it is. We've been talking earlier in the day about people being fired. Real quick text. Jim from Medina. I got fired for taking a Thursday off to go to Vegas for a KQ trip.
Attaboy.
We decided to go last minute. Yes, there were cocktails involved in that decision. Best thing that could happen. I'm making 3 times the salary and no weekend work now. Jim!
Yeah.
That is why. That's another lesson to be learned. It's always in your best interest to go to Vegas on a spur of the moment while you're already drunk.
Everything's going to work out. It's a little thing we call KQ Karma.
That's exactly right.
I do remember being there, 2,500 people in the studio audience. Everyone could not drive, operate a vehicle legally, I'm sure, and that included most of us up on stage. And one guy had a request. He said, you know what? I got to call in sick work to work today. I just got a message from my boss that I better show up or else. So I've got to call in sick.
Yeah.
So we allowed him to call in sick on the air.
Nice.
We put it on the air, but 2,499 people had to be quiet.
How'd that go?
Don't say a word.
That's great.
And click, and there was you could hear a pin drop in that studio. I don't know if he ever got away with it or not, but his boss went, all right.
Oh, that's awesome.
He goes, what are you sick with? He goes, I don't know, man. I just really have a cold. I'm coughing. And he goes, are you puking? He goes, yeah, I feel like I'm going to puke. All right, well, feel better. I think he got away with it.
That's a pretty good one. Crazy stories we've had all day long about people getting fired. Did you hear the one about the guy who got fired because he brought his daughter to work that day? Well, I mean, he was, after all, a surgeon. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Good morning to you.
Maybe she wants to put on the red light. Maybe she'd rather put on the red light than hang out with you.
Well, yeah, you're doing all that tantric 8-hour sex stuff.
Yeah,
she's just looking to turn quick tricks.
Wham, bam, thank you, man.
Yeah, she's
speculating.
She's not trying to get to know you, dude.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to. There's nothing intimate here. She's doing her job.
Yeah, leave her alone.
Come on, Sting.
Every breath you take.
Going to Paris and falling in love with a prostitute. What's the matter with you?
That's not right.
Come on. Come on. You know what, though? She's actually paying to get herself through night school, right? Isn't that what they always... Well, that's not the prostitute. That's what the strippers say. I shouldn't combine the two. There's a difference between your average stripper and your average woman working the red light district in Paris.
Yeah, good luck trying to sleep with a stripper. Every guy tries. Very few get away with it.
No, the trick is to not try. That's
really?
the trick. Yeah,
now you tell me.
Yeah. Now you got to go in there and just look bored to death.
What if you just want to sleep? Actually sleep?
They will throw you out.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't pass out.
These things happen.
In your finer gentlemen's clubs, they will tap you on the shoulder and roll you out into the parking lot like a bowling ball.
We have been discussing people who have been fired in all different ways throughout the day. 651-989-ROCK is the talk and text line if you got a story to share. Our good friend Tubby texted in. My brother and I both worked downtown at a downtown parking ramp. We had a good scam going where we could pocket the $21 fares daily.
Wow.
On my way in one day, I passed my brother on the road. He said, they're onto us. I just got fired. I wouldn't even bother going in if I was you. So I didn't.
That's great. Yeah, thanks for the heads up.
Hey, man, that's totally cool. By the way, anytime someone looks at you and says, they're onto us, that's a good day. There's no greater feeling than finding out they're onto you, but you're not the one that found. Oh, thanks for the heads up, bro.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. I can't remember the last time someone told me they were onto us. It just you feel like Butch Cassidy when someone's on. Hey, they're onto us.
I do.
Suddenly you're like, yeah.
I don't know if that was the exact language, but I remember in 8th grade being out on the playground and one of the guys coming up and saying something to that effect. They're onto us because we had all cheated on a test.
Oh boy.
We stole the master textbook, the teacher's master there, and copied them all down and apparently put it back in the wrong drawer or something like that.
Yeah.
And said, yeah, Mr. Lear's in there. He knows. But you had to go back into class. There wasn't an option to just, leave the country.
No, of course not.
So we all went in and took our medicine.
They're onto us. Someone says those words, your first thought is, well, let me light a cigarette and think about our next move.
Yeah.
How about if you hear the jig is up?
No,
Jig is up.
Now the jig is up that's what the cop says or the manager says. They're onto us is what your buddy says. So it's a different, contextually. 651-989-ROCK is the number. Tony, who's on the horn?
Todd cruising through Rosemount.
Todd, good morning. Todd, you with us?
Yes.
Good morning, sir. What's your favorite band?
Good morning. My favorite band would have to be the Eagles.
And who's your favorite team? Any sport?
Minnesota Vikings all the way.
I love the chuckle that associates a lot of those Vikings calls. All right, Todd, what do you got for us?
Well, I used to work for a big construction company in the Twin Cities doing highway heavy, concrete paving, barrier wall, curb and gutter. And we were dying, and we were going to set up to pour the bridge rail on the new bridge that we had did. The first side of the rail was already poured, so when you pour the second side, you got to glue styrofoam to the back of it 24 hours prior to pouring, so when the traffic's going across the bridge, the rails can move up and down.
Oh.
So Thursday, there was a crew of guys supposed to glue this styrofoam on. Thursday afternoon, about 4:30, a guy calls me. He goes, Todd, I'm here all by myself. It's windy, and they don't even have any glue. They send caulking instead of glue. It's not going to work. I said, all right. I said, just show up tomorrow morning. We'll figure it out. So I called my batch man, canceled my concrete and everything Thursday night. I said, there's no way we can pour on Friday. Friday, we get down to the job site. I said, well, we've got one case of glue, so start gluing styrofoam on. I'll go get some more glue, and we'll just have to pour on Saturday. Well, my boss, I guess he's like the estimator for the concrete division. We'll just call him Stu. He shows up, and he goes, Todd, what's going on? I said, we can't pour this. I said, the styrofoam didn't get glued on, and I said, he sends down Dow 888, which is a caulking compound. It's not even a glue. Well, he said, I'll get back to you. All of a sudden, I see ready-mix trucks go driving by.
Oh, boy.
15 minutes later, Stu shows back up, says, Todd, you will pour that rail today, no matter what. It has to be done. I'm like, okay.
All right.
So anyways, MnDOT says, what are you going to do? And I said, well, Stu told me that I had to pour this. They said, well, if he says to pour it, then I guess go ahead and pour it. So we started pouring the rail, and the 3/4-inch styrofoam leaves you a 3/4-inch gap between the two concrete barriers on the bridge.
I'll take your word
for it. Well, anyways, yep, it was opening up to about 1.5 inches because the styrofoam was buckling. But we poured the rail, no big deal. About a month later, we're working on a job in Champlin, and I get a phone call. Todd, you need to come to the office. Be here at 4 o'clock. Okay. One of my guys said, what was that all about? I said, I'm going to get fired over that job in Le Sueur. You watch. He goes, ain't no way. It wasn't your fault. You told them not to pour it. They told you you had to. Said, it don't matter. I said, crap runs downhill.
Yeah.
So I drive in, get to the office at 4 o'clock. Stu's standing there, and he goes, let's go into the conference room. We go into the conference room, we sit down, and he looks up at the clock, and he said, Todd, as a 4:05, your position's been terminated due to your decision to pour that rail down in Le Sueur.
The guy that told you to pour.
Yep. I looked right at him, and I said, you SOB, I told you not to pour it. You're the one that said I had to pour it. Well, anyways, Stu was on a salary of about $150,000 a year, and, of course, I'm hourly. Come to find out, about 2 years later, we're working on the light rail. I'm with a different company, and I ran into one of the brothers that owned the company that I had gotten fired from. And I had a little chit-chat with him, and he told me when he found out what really happened, I should have never been fired. But since Stu was the division leader, that was his job. He was told whoever made the decision to pour that rail should be fired. Well, Stu wasn't going to lose his job, so crap runs downhill. I get fired.
Todd, we appreciate the call and the story. I think we can all agree Stu's just a cold-hearted sumbitch. That's what I got out of that story. Thanks for the call.
Exactly. All right, thanks.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, that happens in every industry. I missed the middle part. Can you guys fill me in?
It was like the Steve Martin plumber joke.
No, I'll tell you what, though. If I'm listening to a radio station on how I got fired, and I got fired under those circumstances, I just want to get it off my chest.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I hope Stu was listening. If I'm Todd, I'm like, I hope that son of a Stu is listening.
Yellow-bellied bastard, that Stu. We got another call, Tony?
Yeah, we do. Tom from St. Paul.
Tom, good morning. Hey, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing, brother? Give me your favorite band.
I'll say the Black Crowes.
Hey, go ahead. It's free. Favorite team, any sport?
Well, I'm still waiting on the Vikings, but I got to say the Vikes.
Attaboy. All right, what do you got for us, Tom?
All right. So I worked, I don't know if I should say the company's name or not, but I'm going to.
Yeah, let her rip.
I used to move furniture for Slumberland.
Okay.
And so we had a bunch of crazy guys that worked for them. But anyway, one morning, one of my buddies was running around the dock, and I don't know if you remember water beds, but they have bladders. And
sure.
I do too. I have to use mine
with one tied around his neck, calling himself Captain Chaos.
The bladder.
These other two guys started throwing stuff at him, and the warehouse manager sees them throwing stuff at him.
Yeah.
So they call him in the office, and it's a glass office, so everybody could watch this meeting going down. And they're in there, and he's talking to them, and both of them come out, and I asked Timmy, I go, so what happened in there? He goes, we're on double C for probation.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's all I got for you.
That's it. Hey, Tom, thanks for the call. Any story that ends with an Animal House reference is always welcome around here.
Got
It
me
was a
thinking.
good one.
Thanks, buddy.
So, if you mention the word extortion again, I'll have your legs broken. Carmine!
I hung on to the waterbed long after they were cool.
Did you?
Like into the 2000s. They're
Really?
They were not comfortable.
No, for some reason,
Did you
and
dig
mine
it?
did not even have like the baffles in it. It was just a big old balloon of water and that you would get in. And, I was a single dude, and women would come, really? You have a freaking waterbed? I'm like, that's right. You want to ride the wave, baby.
There's a gentleman in Austria who was just fired from his job. He brought his daughter to work. It was not, in fact, an official bring your daughter to work day, but he brought her in anyway. And he went to work on a 33-year-old patient because the man in question is a surgeon. Gentleman had a forestry accident, rushed to the hospital. He's 33 years old. What he doesn't know is that the emergency surgeon who is going to then drill into his skull let his 13-year-old daughter do the drilling. This is a true story in Austria. Now, to her credit, she did a great job. There was no complications from her taking part in this surgery, but she literally drilled a hole in a patient's skull. Again, she's 13.
Wow.
Her dad is the surgeon.
I mean, he was standing right there supervising, I'm sure.
He has been removed from duty. I love the idea of the inquest. So you let your daughter operate. You let a 13-year-old child drill a hole into a human's skull. She's got a steady hand, and she looks... You should see her roll the strudel. What the hell are you thinking, dude?
See, what if that sucker just sunk in there? Like when you punch through a piece of plyboard or something?
Yeah, exactly. No, easy. Oh, too much. Good Lord. There's the grey matter on the drill bit. Oops. We went too far into the skull.
Well, he's just a forestry worker. They're a dime a dozen. That's crazy. I remember, not at this radio station, when Taylor was quite young, taking her to another radio, bring your kid to work day. And I brought her in. I was just doing a good old afternoon DJ shift. And instead of Foreigner's Cold as Ice, she played Dirty White Boy. Hit the wrong button. Queued up the wrong track on the CD. It was just mayhem.
Oh, my gosh.
A brain surgeon. All right, go ahead, work the drill.
I still think she makes the best apricot dumplings I've ever had. She's only 13, so I figured what could go wrong in the surgical procedure.
Oh, man.
All right, one last call before we hit it, Tony. Who we got?
That's our buddy Aaron from Maple Grove.
Aaron, good morning.
Hey, morning.
Hey, a favorite band, sir?
Favorite band, Smashing Pumpkins.
Right on. Favorite team, any sport?
Well, I'm a Wisconsin transplant, so it's got to be the Packers. Sorry, guys.
We still love you,
Doesn't
man.
have to be.
You're listening. We love you. It's kind of I don't know. We're giving you the pass.
Yeah, we'll let that one go. What do you got for us, Aaron?
Well, back in college, I was working for the Boys and Girls Club, and we kind of had this understanding that I would take time off if I had like a big final or whatever. And then, I guess I must have been abusing it, and they weren't very good at managing the place anyways, and we were kind of getting sick of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of felt like our time was kind of up, so I went into the boss's office, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to be working here anymore. And then she said, I don't think so either. And then I just kind of left. So technically, I didn't get fired, and I didn't quit.
Right.
But it's been about 20 years, so I wonder if the job is still there.
Yeah.
Only one way to find out.
Wander back
Only
in
one
it.
way,
Yeah, just start doing your job. Like, well, you weren't clear about it 20 years ago, and I'm looking for something to do.
This has just been one of those little niggling things in the back of my mind. I got to settle this score once and for all. Right on, Aaron. Thank you for the call. Hey, we got to hit it because it's very important that we get your day off on the right foot. If you're just joining us, that's okay. We're still going to give you the top 5 at 9. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. You're listening to the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zep, Tony, and Ryder on 92 KQRS.
This is the KQ Morning Show for Wednesday, August the 28th. Good morning. Did we get a report? Am I making this up? Did you say something about a couple of dead horses out there on the road somewhere?
This
is a wild one.
I did not find the official report, but that's from our good buddy Donnie. We can verify. He just texted me, I'm here at the door.
Okay.
Hang tight, Donnie. I'm on the Donnie. Yeah, I'm on the radio. 2 dead horses on Highway 55. I assume that's either been cleared or they've shut that down, but I've not found it on the jam cam because we don't have one down there. That's between Hastings and 52.
Gunfight?
Could have been.
Knife fight?
Might have been.
You never know.
I'm thinking a horse trailer
or maybe
turned
just
over
maybe Alex Karras is just walking through town.
One good punch.
Only pawn in game of life.
Man, one never knows. Good morning to our friends up in White Bear Lake. Rudy Gobert, not just sorry, I was going to make a weird Gobert's Fargo joke. White Bear Lake, me, like so many others, not from Minnesota. The first time I ever heard the words White Bear Lake were in the movie Fargo. When I moved up here, I was delighted to see it's just right up the street. Lovely place.
Yeah, have you been over to the VFW?
I've not been there. No,
Highly recommend. One of the best VFWs I've ever been to, and it's right on the lake.
That is, that's saying something.
Yeah, right.
Hell yeah.
That's one of my favorite VFWs. You want to get there.
Well, rock on. Happy to have you with us, everybody listening up in White Bear Lake. It is time for your top 5 at 9. Let's do this. The Twins last night, down 4 runs, rally late, go to extra innings, and then give up 4 runs to the Braves. Ultimately, the Braves win 8-6. That is the 7th loss in the last 9 for the Twinkies, but they are still only 2.5 games behind the Guardians and the Royals.
Get this last losing streak out of the way because here comes September, and you've got to start winning some games. Hopefully it's just like a little bad spell for them. They'll get the ship pointed in the right direction, and September is when you win games.
Safe to say right now that the wild card, it's nothing secure, but a 4-game lead over Boston for the wild card is nice. That's a decent cushion.
Yeah.
But you got to start winning some games here, boys. Number 4 on your top 5 at 9. The minimum wage, according to the Department of Labor and Industry, will increase on January 1st up to $11.13 an hour for all employers, not just large businesses. Younger workers, youth workers, and those working for Minnesota businesses that generate less than $500,000 in revenue can still be paid $8.85 an hour. But as of January 1st, everybody going up to $11.13.
You know what that means, of course. You'll have to work less. You don't have to work as many hours.
Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Great.
40, 50, 60 hours a week.
Sure.
Screw that, man. I'm getting an extra $1 an hour. I'm going to lay around in bed a couple hours.
Hey, man, the cost of living goes up. The cost of employment goes up for employers.
I'm
That's
sure
how it
it's
works.
Keeping pace with the price of avocados, right?
That's how it's supposed to work. If minimum wage had kept up with inflation since the 50s, you ever see those charts?
Yeah.
It'd be like $42 an hour. So if minimum wage was rocking back in the day.
Just cruising through YouTube the other day, I see Dan Aykroyd as President Jimmy Carter on SNL.
Okay.
And he's talking about inflation as our friend.
Yeah.
Now think about this. He said by the year 2000, if inflation continues under its current rate of 78 or 79, whenever that was, He said, your average American will be making over $500,000 a year. Doesn't that sound nice?
Yeah, right.
His Carter impression was so good, but what took away from it is he still had his mustache.
Yeah, you can't lose the mustache. It was 78. You don't lose the mustache.
It is funny when you think about what SNL, anybody now doing impressions. In the 70s, they did nothing to do. Like Chevy Chase came out, all he did was fall, and you were like, oh, he's doing Gerald Ford.
Yeah, right.
That was it. Nothing else about him was remotely like Gerald Ford.
No.
Dan Aykroyd at least made an effort.
Yeah,
There's Donnie.
Hey,
Donnie, we're going to find out about those. No, he's being ushered back out. I was going to find out about those dead horses. We'll find out now.
We will in a moment. Number 3 on your top 5 at 9. Power outages continuing throughout the area until as late as Thursday evening for some.
Damn.
116,000 Twin Cities and Western Wisconsin residents were without power as of last night. I don't have an update now. However, we're hoping to get everybody back on the grid. XL Energy said at least by Thursday evening, everybody should be clear.
You're going to have to make contact with that relative you haven't talked to in a while.
Yeah, no kidding.
Use your shower.
Number 2 on your top 5 at 9, the Kelsey brothers. Travis Kelsey, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Jason Kelsey, recently retired center for the Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, here's quick diversion. The Eagles will not be the same team without him. That's the best. That's one of the best players on the team. One of the best centers, and he's gone. And let's see if that tush push still works without Jason Kelsey. Offensive linemen. We never give them enough love. Watch the Eagles' offense this year struggle to replace that guy.
Well, they didn't do very well the last half of the season last year.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I hope they lose every game.
So the Travis and Jason Kelsey, the Kelsey brothers, they have a podcast called New Heights, and they're both funny guys. They're both very bright guys. I'm sure.
Why New Heights?
I don't know. I haven't listened, but I'm sure it's entertaining. If it's probably better than if you took a random center and tight end and put them together. I'm just saying this is probably better than that. Here's the deal. They just signed a deal with Amazon to take their New Heights podcast to Amazon. A 3-year deal for $100 million.
That's unbelievable. They probably would have done it for a couple $100.
I guarantee you they would have. Make no mistake about it.
They started doing it for free, just a couple of brothers get together. We should podcast, man. Well, that's the American dream right there.
Travis texted Taylor and said they signed us for $100 million, and Taylor Swift wrote back, I thought you said you were going to make something of yourself.
Right.
That's cute.
What are you contributing?
My boyfriend has a part-time job.
Gotta drag your ass across the finish line every day around here. Finally, here's your number 1 on our top 5 at 9. Get ready. It's coming. Sloth fever.
I'm ready for it.
2 words that will go down in infamy. Sloth fever is a deadly insect-borne virus that has now infected 21 U.S. residents who have returned recently from Cuba. Thousands more people are turning up sick with this in South America and the Caribbean. So far, only 21 U.S. residents, but they all were in Cuba. So stay away from Cuba. This is as I said, insect-borne virus. It can be deadly. If you start to feel like maybe I've got sloth fever, other symptoms, let's see: chills, fever, headaches, muscle joint pain, stiffness. That's like Tuesday around here. Who doesn't feel that crap every day?
I have sloth fever.
The average patient age is 48. Oh, thank God, that's so far behind me. But yeah, a lot of other things: diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, rash, back pain, bleeding. Listen, sloth fever. I don't know if it's going to spread. I just kind of like the name. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, all apologies to people suffering, but sloth fevers
Catch it.
just feels like something that wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah,
Do you
good
just
luck
mean
to
I
you.
get to go watch some more crappy shows and wait for this to pass? Yeah.
I mean,
I'll sloth out all day long.
Good luck to you. What are you doing going to Cuba for? We've got Florida. You don't need Cuba.
Yeah, good point. Well, I don't know, man. That's good food down there, man.
Really? I'll
Strong
take your
coffee.
word for it.
Got some. I mean, I've just heard. I haven't
We've got
been
some good
myself.
Cuban food in South Minneapolis without the insects that'll kill you.
Well, that's probably true.
I think.
All right. Well, recommend a place. I'll go. I'm a
Was it Johnny 44?
sucker for a Cuban sandwich.
I can't remember the name of it. Johnny
Well, the
44?
1959 Cafe.
Oh, 1959 Cafe.
Yeah,
That's it.
It's fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it's called, the 1959 KSA. Batista lives, man, forever. Hey, Lenny Kravitz, Blue Electric Light Las Vegas takes over Dolby Live at Park MGM this October. You could be on your way to see him. Score a trip for two. That includes round-trip air, a 2-night stay at Park MGM, and 2 premium tickets to see Lenny Kravitz in Las Vegas. Text the national keyword SONG to 95819 right now to enter for a chance to win. Bing, bang, boom. The St. Croix Valley Riders Association Chili Feed is going on the weekend of the 6th and 7th of September. Donnie Morley of that organization is with us in the studio. Donnie, we've talked to you a few times over the last year. It's always a pleasure, brother.
Thanks a lot, Steve. I just want the listeners to know out there, I'm in studio today. This thing's the Taj Mahal. And Brian, when you're done with that water, what's it, a water bottle?
Yeah, that's water in that
bottle. Will you pass that over here?
Yeah, sure. You take a poke of it. Careful. It's the good stuff. It's the good water.
The Chili Feed, you guys have been doing this. Is this the 34th annual? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Damn.
34 years. The St. Croix Valley Riders has been putting on the Chili Feed. The last 5 years, we haven't had chili, but guess what? Chili's back.
Chili's back, baby.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's good news.
I mean, we had all that unpleasantness that started back in 2020, and then it was kind of tricky to get restarted again. I remember last year going, oh, man, the chili's not back yet, but it's back this year, and that's free.
Yes, sir.
Beer, pop, and chili when you have your wristband. You buy your ticket to get in. That's not a bad deal.
Yeah, we have over 200 gallons being made by Justin Jones. He's the owner of the Mac Shack out of Red Wing, and I've had the absolute honor of eating in his establishment. I tried his chili recipe. It is out of this world. And he's going to have the sour cream, the shredded cheese, sliced jalapenos, and we're going to have crackers available to everybody. There'll be a serving station. Crackers.
What? What'd you call me?
Got it all.
Listen here.
And then a big old semi. Steve, you know, they have the semi trailer out there just with beer taps from one end of the semi trailer to the other.
I spent more time than I should have at the semi beer tap trailer last year at the Chili Feed.
That was when we had to call the ambulance. You were that guy.
It's me. These things happen. scvr.org is the easiest way to remind yourself of all this information. scvr.org. There's also, of course, a bunch of great entertainment, including Derek St. Holmes is playing this year. And for a moment or two, Derek St. Holmes is actually on the horn. Derek, good morning, brother.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're great, man. Very excited to have you coming up for the Chili Feed in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to get there.
So when you come out and you play, you have so many songs that you have been a part of. A lot of the music we play on this station, and so many rock songs that are a part of people's lives. How do you put a set list together? It's got to be kind of tough when you look back at everything you've done and going, well, hang on, I only got an hour. What do I play?
Yeah. Well, actually, you just start down the list start with all the hits, play everything that, is most popular that everybody wants to hear. Sometimes I'll even start the set with Stranglehold, because most of these people, they come to hear Stranglehold, Cat Scratch Fever, Hey Baby, things like that. And rather than to wait too long, give them what they want. And then the rest all falls in line. A lot of these people still think Ted sings all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, no, come on.
Yeah, sometimes they scratch their head and they say, Derek St. Holmes, okay, I'm not sure what that is, but then when I start and I start singing the songs, everybody goes, oh, my goodness, that's what it is. Oh, I didn't know that. That's okay.
Yeah, that's
it is okay.
That is okay. Hey, let me ask you this, Derek. Do you ride, or have you ever ridden? Are you a biker?
That's funny. I had a 1998 Fat Boy for about 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
That does the job.
That does the job.
Yeah,
you get the street cred.
My wife said, honey, it's time to get rid of that thing because we need those hands.
Yeah, that's the number one reason a used Harley Davidson is for sale. A wife.
Yeah. Well, no, hey, that's why I asked. I mean, when you're making a living playing guitar, you got to think twice about a lot of things that some of us just take for granted.
Yeah, and it's not us; it's everybody else trying to hit us. You know,
of course,
that's the scary part.
Amen.
After a while, and I was living in a major city, and after a while, you know, you crank it up, you get out there, and the first thing you think about is, okay, where am I going to lay this down if I have to? And that's when that started. I went, okay, it's time to change up. But yeah, I've ridden bikes all my life. I mean, I'm 71 now, and I've ridden motorcycles ever since I was 17, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, Derek, you bring up a good point about it in these big cities. You know, we're in Minneapolis right now doing this show. Of course, this is out in Ellsworth, Wisconsin, or near Ellsworth, at the Gaslight Tavern there, the chili feed. But St. Croix Valley Riders, who you're playing for and hired you to come on up, all about bikers' rights and trying to make the roads safer, working through legislation. And
Amen.
And getting to these chili feeds and rocking out with Derek St. Holmes and all that good jazz and the free chili and beer. That raises the money to, you know, get us a lobby at the legislation to try and keep it a little safer out on the roads for the two-wheelers.
Yeah, a little more awareness. You
Yes,
know?
sir.
And, you know, sometimes it's just, it's unfortunate that you run into an older person who just is older and they don't look 3 or 4 times, and it's not their fault. But that's why riders also have to be educated. You have to second guess everybody. Do not think they see you, because they don't see you. Yeah, believe me, I'm all about it. I'm all about
all about that and all about the rock. Derek St. Holmes will be playing at the 34th Annual Chili Feed, Ellsworth, Wisconsin, Friday and Saturday, the 6th and 7th of September. What Derek is playing which day?
Saturday night.
Saturday night, right on.
Derek goes on at about 9:45.
Yeah.
And Derek, if you get there early enough, brother, we'll have a nice bike. You can take a little tool around Wisconsin. The roads are beautiful there. And we'll make sure.
I was going to say that's the least you could do.
That's the least we're going to do. And Derek, I'm going to make sure you get a free bowl of chili, brother.
And you know, make sure prepare everybody. It's got to be loud.
It's going to be loud.
Oh yeah,
sounds like a plan. Derek, thanks for calling in and taking the time. We'll see you in a couple weeks, brother.
Absolutely.
All right. Cheers.
Thanks, Derek.
Yeah, it's funny he said that because when you hear him sing, you are just like, oh yeah, that's not Ted Nugent. That's the Ted Nugent. That's the voice. That's the guy.
Voice.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, Ted marketed that one well. Put me on the cover of everything, even though I'm not singing any of this stuff. So as we mentioned, 34th annual, it's gone through some changes. I'm excited the chili's back. I mean, just because I could eat chili every day of the year.
It's amazing.
So you, Donnie, your recipe is what exactly? You're a chili maven from way back.
I'm a chili kind of guy.
Come on.
This chili's got a bite to it. It's got a nice little bite to it. It is a secret recipe. Justin Jones, it's
I
his.
like it.
We've had it. I've had a small group of us had it. It's amazing.
We've talked with you a lot, as Zepp was just saying, the legislation. What are some other things while you're here? What are you guys working on? What's next? What you know? I know you always have a lot of things you'd love to share with our listeners.
Yeah,
we got a few minutes. Just lay it on me here. What are we looking at next?
So St. Croix Valley Riders, that everyone that's heard us knows we're about legislation, safe roads, biker awareness, training, reimbursing people. If you join our organization, $25 a year. If you join for 3 years up front, that's $75. You take a class, get your endorsement. You take an intermediate class or an advanced motorcycle class. You show us your passing ticket and your receipt. We'll give you back $259 of that class.
Nice.
So the money we raise helps compensate the difference of $75 from $259. We also do a lot of children's charities. I got a new children's event coordinator this year, Donna. She's phenomenal, and she came up with some ideas. We got back to schools, where we're bringing in backpacks, filling them up with supplies. We're going to be implementing that in 25, and we're going to pick some small town elementary schools that we donate these to for children and families that really can't maybe afford it. We got a kids' Christmas party. We have anywhere from 80 to 180 families come through in December. We give everybody a free toy, from a stuffed animal to a pedal bike.
It's outstanding.
We got 2 truckloads of toys and gifts that we take out to HCMC every December and donate to the Children's Ward. We're the only organization that donates to the Children's Ward out there. And just seeing the looks on their faces when we show up with that stuff is phenomenal.
That's fantastic. SCVR.org is the website to go get a lot of great information. The chili feed. So you got free tent camping, a lot of food and merch, free beer and pop, as we said. The mini bike rodeo. Will you take part? Will you? I want to see Big Donnie Morley on a mini bike in the rodeo.
So if you show up, I got 2 mini bikes. You and I.
Oh boy!
Take.
All right.
That's
what I quit while I'm ahead.
Our June event, the Rally in the Valley, it was new this year. Was a huge success. We implemented the Fat Tire mini bikes. I raced. I jousted. I fell.
Nice.
I wiped out.
Nice.
I had mud in areas where a man should not have mud. And I didn't walk straight for 2 weeks, and I'm going to frickin' do it again.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And this time you get a bowl of chili for your trouble, so it's even better. All that and a bowl of chili.
As long as you throw a flex roll in it, I'll be good.
And our very own Ryder is going to be out there doing some announcing, I understand.
Yeah, we have, I'm sorry, Zep, say that again?
Ryder going to be out there doing some announcing for us?
Ryder out there. I think Ryder's not just our MC. I'm going to try to coerce her to get on the mechanical bull.
She'll do it.
Take part in our T-shirt contest. I don't know if she'll do that.
I don't know about that. Coercion with Ryder usually just involves a PBR. I'll make it real easy for you.
Yep.
Just get one of those big tall boys, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
September 6th and 7th, Ellsworth, Wisconsin, the Chili Feed, the 34th annual St. Croix Valley Riders Association Chili Feed. I don't know what else anyone needs to know. This is just a blast, and it goes on all weekend.
Oh, we got a couple more things. How much time do I have, Steve?
I'm going to give you 2 minutes, brother.
2 minutes. All right. You know, on this morning was supposed to be one of our MCs, Bad Boy Brian, the Little People Entertainer. The guy's a phenomenal guy.
Okay.
Bad Boy, I'm sorry. I'm saying this out to you and your friends. They had problems connecting to your phone here.
Okay.
He is going to MC the Fat Tire Mini Bike Games.
Nice.
He's in Mini Kiss. He's the bassist, so he tours the country with Mini Kiss. He was in Mall Cop 2. The dude is funny as hell. He was the human bowling pin, bowling ball, that is. He used to get greased up and they'd throw him down the lanes.
I've met him out at Sturgis, right?
Yes.
The Full Throttle.
He's a funny guy. He's coming out to the Chili Feed. He's going to be there the whole weekend. He's going to MC the Fat Tire Mini Bikes. He'll call it out when Steve crashes. And then he's going to MC the Dunk Tank. Anything else we got going on, he'll be on stage during the T-shirt contest.
Awesome.
And God, there's just so much to share. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, listen, it's scvr.org. I think it's $40 for your ticket for Friday and Saturday, $50 at the gate. You heard where your money's going, and all you got to do is show up and be a maniac for a couple of days. And these are biker parties that we used to throw when I was growing up. These are 70s, 1980s, 90s biker parties that you don't find anymore. It's outside of city limits. It's over there at the Gaslight Tavern near Ellsworth, Wisconsin. If you're a biker, I mean, you got to be there. I got a family wedding. I'm going to be out of town. Otherwise, I'd be there camping right next to my bike on Friday and Saturday night. But you want to be at this one. Trust me.
Donnie, it's always a pleasure, brother.
Steve, thank you.
You got it. Come back anytime.
Zep, you want that water bong back? What was
water bong?
Water bong.
Go ahead. You got your cooties all over it now. It's all yours, brother.
All right, it's time as we look forward to the Chili Feed. It's also time to look back. Oh, it sounds good. Oh, did we want to talk about motorcycles? How about this? On this day in 1978, Donald Vesco of Loma Linda, California, took a Kawasaki motorcycle out onto the Bonneville Salt Flats. It's a 21-foot long Kawasaki motorcycle, not the kind you just bring right out of the dealership. And he reached 318.59 miles per hour on 2 wheels.
I can't even imagine. Now it's a 21-footer, so it's custom made for this. Otherwise, I mean, you wouldn't even have your front tire on the ground. It would just pick that thing right up. Well,
I don't even want to pretend I could imagine what that feels like.
Lived to tell the tale.
He certainly did. On this day in 2004, Manu Ginobili led the Argentinian men's basketball team to an Olympic gold medal game. The Olympics men's basketball, and Argentina won gold.
Hell.
How much did they beat us by? Oh, they didn't. They beat Italy because the U.S. was in the bronze medal game.
Shame.
That's what you get when you put stuff on Marbury out there.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.